Good morning and blessings, everybody out there. What's going on? It's your man, Rod Hickman, Generational Wealth Builders, where poverty ends with us. Look, happy to come to you on this Friday, January the 23rd, in the year of our Lord, 2026. Look, I'm not going to be before you long today. What they say, I came for a good time, not a long time. But look, want to talk real quick because, well, first of all, if y'all see my baby out there, you see my bug, please wish her a happy birthday today. Today's her birthday. She's 20 years old, and I got to get ready to go to the mall and drop this money off here in a little bit. So y'all pray for me now. Pray for me. Call my name out in prayer. But no, I got to get ready to go do something for her. She's such a sweetheart, and I love her so. She lightens up my life. When they talk about, fathers and their daughters, it's just an amazing thing how, she's so precious. And the reason why I call her Bug is because she's just so resilient, right? And I just really, really appreciate her for that. But here we go. Let's get into it, right? Before I start crying on here and y'all be laughing and trying to make a meme out of me and something like that. And y'all know I'm gonna have to come for y'all if y'all do me like that. But all right, either way, as we get into it, watch this here. So I hate to be the guy to say I told you so, but I'm kind of petty, never messy. So I gotta be that guy to kind of say I told you. And what am I talking about? I know y'all like, what is this guy talking about? Well, guess what? If y'all can recall, a few months ago, there was an article that was posted about a guy by the name of Kyle Busch and his wife. And in this particular article, they were trashing the Index Universal Life Insurance policy. They were talking about, oh, it's this and oh, it's that. And everybody was like, see, I told you it was good. I told you it wasn't good. I told you it was a scam. And I told you all this, that, and the other. And you got to understand, they actually went after a very, very, very major carrier in the insurance industry. They went after Pacific Life. Now, let me start off by saying this. If it's wrong, I'm the first one to be like, no, I don't know about that now. I don't know about that. That ain't on straight, whatever the case may be. But look at him. If it ain't wrong, I'm going to call it out. And so with that being said, one of the things that I've seen is that Pacific Life has responded. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Oh, yeah, Pacific Life responded. Now, before they responded, you can go and look back in the previous time. You'll see where it is that I defended the IUL because I stand behind it, because my wife, my family, my daughter, we have the IUL. We believe in it. We understand it 100%. So I'll start off by saying this, that when it comes to anything and all thy getting, get an understanding. Let me start off by saying that. And the problem is a lot of people want stuff, but they won't read the fine print. Or they feel like there's a loophole that they can use and kind of come up. And you got to realize that that's just really, really not the case. So let's get into it. So now I'm not taking something that I made. I'm just going to pull up what they have out there on the internet, because I want y'all to see how Pacific Life responded. So as you can see here, his lawsuit that he submitted, the insurer moves to dismiss it. Now, the insurer is Pacific Life. Pacific Life has been around for a long time. It's a mutual company. Again, they do some very, they have some tremendous policies. We are actually starting to showcase some of their policies the latter part of Q1 going into Q2 here within our organization, because again, I like to make sure people understand and make sure that when we go to the market, they know how to present it. But I want you to see why they have basically said, no, what he's saying is cap, right? So let me show you some of the reasons why they said cap. So let's go back. What Bush is saying is that he's saying that, man, they got me, right? He's saying that basically he asked for $8.5 million, and they basically said it was the IUL, or Index Universal Life, was sold to generate tax-free income. Here's the kicker: without fully explaining the risk involved. Now, I could go into a lot right here, but I'm not, because I'm going to keep it very, very light, keep it short, trying to keep it under 10 minutes. But watch this. One thing I can tell you about is there are documents upon documents upon documents that you must sign. And even there are places when you're looking at the illustration that if you just say, hey, why does this number not match here? It's strategically set up for that. So what I can tell you is, without fully explaining the risk, that's not true, right? That's just not true. But notice what they're saying. Pacific Life said, hey, they bought 5 IUL policies between 2018 and 2022, which total about $90 million of coverage. Notice what they're saying. The policies were meant to offer immediate death benefit and the opportunity to accumulate cash values when the policies were held for a long term. That's it right there. That's it. And I can tell you that the document that he signed, that he and his wife signed, is going to say the exact same thing. Because again, this is what we said. And if you can recall, if you go back and watch my video, you'll see I said the exact same thing. Now, there may have been some things that maybe in their mind they thought, and maybe they did not ask, and maybe they thought, hey, we could take advantage like this, but that's not the case. So what happened is, notice what they say: as long as the premiums were paid and the policies were kept in place. Now, here we go. The insurer, meaning Pacific Life, is saying that the policies failed because the Bush did not pay the planned premiums. They allowed some of the policies to lapse and others surrendered early. Now, what does that mean? So when we sit down and when we're writing a IUL, IUL will give you cash value year one, right? It's going to give you cash value. But what's supposed to happen is, because as it say, it's designed to accumulate, what should happen is that it should also show that year 1, 2, and 3 are very, like 1 and 2 for sure should be 0 years. And then 3, you should see a surrender value. What that means is, for simple math's sake, let's just say the first year it gives you $1,000, the second year it gives you $2,000, the third year you have $3,000 in what we call accumulated value. You're going to see in the surrender value that basically you only have about $1,000, because what they're saying to you is you're not supposed to take this money right now. You're supposed to give it at least 10 to 11 years where you will see that your surrender value equals the accumulated value. I know y'all probably like, what are you talking about? Just trust me. If we keep it simple like that, it'll be fine. The accumulated value is different from what the surrender value is. So again, I can tell you most times it's about 10 years before you can start pulling that cash value. Now, here's a caveat to that. If, let's say, somebody say, well, hey, Rod, I want to add $100,000 to this policy. Okay, then we have to structure this policy in such a way that we give you what's called the bank sheet benefit rider, right? And what that means is, that means that the cash value and the accumulation value will be equal. So you can pull that money from year 1, right? So let's just be clear about that. There are ways where you can put money in there and then take it out, quote unquote, being your own bank. But there's no way that you can think that, oh, I'm just going to put this money in here, I'm going to pay for it for 5 years, and automatically going to be living off of millions of dollars for the rest of my life. Not going to happen. That's not how this works. And so that's kind of the whole thing behind it. Now, and some other stuff that I don't know, so I don't want to speak to it, but that I can tell you for sure. So notice, here we go again. They signed saying they understood how the policies work, right? And these forms included how they plan to pay premiums and keep the policies for about 30 years through the age of 70 and beyond. Now, here we go again. Another thing that came out with respect to this whole situation is that the Bushes actually put this policy into the trust. So when they put it into their trust, it literally left them, and then they turned around and they tried to pull it out like it's retirement income. So automatically now you're trying to hustle, and that's not the way this is designed to work. And so with that being said, that's another reason why they ended up losing money, triggering taxable events. But basically, notice what it said. Instead of keeping the policies long enough to capitalize on their growth potential, the plaintiffs failed to timely pay planned premiums, failed to monitor allocation of their policy values between the index and fixed account, and surrendered the policies or allowed them to lapse. That's it right there. So this is going to get thrown out. Rather than accept responsibility for their own decision, they're trying to blame the negative outcome on the IUL product. And so, folks, that's kind of what I wanted to show y'all real quick. It ain't going to work. It's not going to work, in my opinion. That's going to get thrown out because of that. And I want to say this because I know we have some people out there from the buy term invested difference camp. And when this came out, they were like, oh, Lordy, see, we told y'all, we were prophetic. We were telling y'all that the IUL is trash and, blahs, and so on. So here we go again. And y'all know by now, if y'all been following me, y'all know I'm good and petty, never messy. I swing back because right is right and wrong is wrong. So when you have people that are trying to say, well, don't put your money in an IUL because it's a scam and you can't have tax-free retirement from it, that's a lie. That's just a bald-faced lie, right? Kyle Busch did not set this policy up straight. Him and that agent, again, I'm not even going to say they didn't set it up straight. What I'm going to say is what they tried to do, they didn't have the ability to do in the time that they were trying to do it. And that's why Pacific Life is pushing back. Because here's the thing. You have to acknowledge what it is. Now, I'm saying that to say it's funny how the buy term investor difference people are quick to always say, well, it's this, it's that, but come on, put your money in a mutual fund. And so I've issued this challenge several times, and I'm going to do it again today. Show me that they have mutual funds that have paid out at 12%, because that's what they promised. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you what they say. If you get a mutual fund that averages around 12% rate of return, in 20 years, you'll have $1 million. How many of people that are with that particular buy term investor difference company can actually say, I have a mutual fund for 20 years that I put in and I got 12%, or average 12%. How many? If that was the case, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because people would be just wealthy. But it's hard for them to do that. And can I be honest? That's why they've been sued, because they're saying, hey, on average, mutual funds are doing about 12% rate of return. That's what their claim is. And you have people that have had money in there for 12 years and it's not 12%. So what grinds my gears is it's one thing for us to compete, but let's compete on a fair platform. The platform is our clients don't lose money. What Kyle Busch did, he made a decision, they violated. Again, that's what's documented. However, when you follow the system, when you sit down with someone who knows how to properly structure an IUL, who's in it to make sure that, listen, I need to make sure you win, because when you win, you continue to help me grow. That's how we train our agents. We train our agents. We're in it for the mission, not just the commission. Because if you don't win, now, it's harder to overcome negative press than it is positive. Just one negative press, and there you go, man. Now you're trying to dig out for 2-3 years. And we don't have time for that. We got into this business to help families, not to hurt them. And our name means something to us. So the generational wealth builder that we train, We know how to properly structure an IUL. Let me give you an example. I'll tell you even more. So here we go. When it comes to an IUL, if you're not ready to overfund that IUL, then guess what? You really probably should not have an IUL where it's increasing. We should set it as level because, again, the purpose of this policy is to grow cash accumulation. And you do that by putting extra money into the policy. That's what it's for. It's legit for that. This policy could literally be a tax-free retirement. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is Google the word LIRP, L-I-R-P, Life Insurance Retirement Planning. When you Google that, you will see that you absolutely can have a tax-free retirement. And so maybe you don't need a tax-free retirement. Well, let me stay right there. Why do you need a tax-free retirement? Well, guess what? What most people don't know is, as most people plan to retire, let's just say at age 62, but what if your full retirement age is not until 65? What if it's not until 67? What if it's not until 70? Well, guess what? Then you can turn around and use that money that's in that IUL to be able to give you money, because what's going to happen is your Social Security money is going to get taxed if you haven't hit full retirement age. I did another live about that another day. Go watch that. But what I want y'all to understand is you can put yourself in the best of situations. And the main way to do that is not by getting sensationalized by people saying, oh, see, I told you at the onset. The main thing to do is to take time, settle yourself, and get all of the details, right? I told y'all when I first heard it, and when I went through the plaintiff, their court documents, I could already see where they didn't do what they were supposed to do. I already saw that. So I'm telling you all, this is kind of my I told you so, and this is specifically for those buy term investor difference people, because y'all posted it, y'all shared it, and I saw it talking about, see, I told you it was a scam, but yet and still your mutual funds aren't performing. That's why your clients are becoming my clients, and they're getting fixed index annuities because they're not taking any losses. So either way, that's my time. Oh man, I went over about 8 minutes. But either way, my goal always when I come on here is to educate you on what's available. I can assure you, you don't have to worry about it. I take my fiduciary responsibilities very seriously, so I'm never going to do anything where my integrity is compromised by a dollar. I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy. We did not build our organization on that, me or none of the other generational wealth builders, because here we go again. I will report them. If I see they're doing something, I will report them, because it's my responsibility to make sure they're properly trained to properly represent this organization, these carriers that we represent. That's our responsibility, and we take that very serious. So either way, that's my time today, y'all. I just wanted to come out here. It's a Friday. I ain't had nothing else to do, so I was going to be petty. But either way, like, share this video. If you know somebody that's of that buy term investor difference camp, I'd love to talk to them. Listen, I'm not that guy. They're not my enemy. They're not. I just think in some ways they just don't look at the whole picture. They give more preference to what they have versus what's in the best interest of the client. You know, I get it. You're trying to make a dollar, but again, at the same time, do your objective research. Like, there's some things from that buy term investor different folk that I salute. I'll tell you, they're FNA, the financial needs analysis, because you got to realize I used to be one. Yeah, I guess I'm coming out now. Yeah, I'm coming out. I'm gonna title this Rod's coming out. Yeah, I used to be one of them folk back in the day. I used to be I used to be one of them. Buy term investor different. Whole life is trash. Yeah, it's a scam. I used to be one of them until I did some research until I saw articles like this. I didn't even plan on doing this. I'm trying to quit. But I just need y'all to see this. I just need y'all to see this. And you'll understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I guess I'm getting older because I can't really talk and chew bubble gum at the same time now, I guess. But I want you to see something, because when people tell me, it's a scam, I say, oh, okay, well, interesting. Why is it this is a tool of the wealthy? And look at here. The incoming SEC chair and his wife have not one, not two, not three, four. They have 54 life insurance policies. You see that? 54 life insurance policies. And what I can tell you is, I'm going to go down. Now, this is my first time looking at this one. Boom, boom, boom. Where is it? Well, these are the reasons why, right? Boom, boom. Oh, man. That's what I hate about some of these websites or whatnot. But where we at? What I'm looking for is none of them are turned. None of them that I saw are turned. But they are all permanent policies between IULs and whole life policies. So the whole thing about it is, and I will put this in the chat. Here we go. No. Yep, there we go right there. Each of the 54 policies are in the whole category, or a variation as it's known, universal life. So that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. So let's break this down. You probably say, well, that's just Paul Atkins. No, I need you to understand. Paul Atkins is now the incoming SEC, or he's now the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Interesting. Not only that, he also has equity in the Chinese giant Alibaba. Yeah. So again, this is a guy that ain't broke. Let's just say it like that. And with that being said, notice he got them 54 policies. And I say that to say, notice it's not term. So why didn't he buy term and invest the difference? Maybe somebody can help me with that. Maybe somebody can help me understand why the chair of the Securities Exchange Commission, who is paid, has 54 policies and none of them are term. I'm going to let that marinate just a little bit. And so, as I close again, as I get ready to get out of here one more time, let me say it like this. Maybe, just maybe, you talk to one of those buy term, invest the difference folk, and it's okay. I know, because a lot of them are kinfolk and stuff like that. They're just not getting out there. I get it. But again, if you have one of those policies, let's talk. I want to talk with you. Let's sit down. I want you to know what you have, because what I'll tell you is I know their policies. They don't know mine. I can walk them through their policies. I can walk you through their policy. I don't even need to see your policy, because I know how their policies are structured. And you got to realize this was, Jesus, 20-something years ago? Almost 25 years ago that I was a buy term, invest the difference person. Yeah. Ooh, 24 years ago. Yikes. But with that being said, what I can tell you is this, is that I don't knock them per se. I appreciate the fact that they are getting families protected, but don't lie. Don't be out there lying and all that and capping and all that. Let us not do that. What's up there, Shelton? All the way from Lawton, Oklahoma. What's good, big dog? Good to see you, man. So the thing is, as I circle up, Kyle Busch said the IUL was a scam, said him and his family, they had him on the news, they had all that. But now the truth is coming out. Truth is coming out. And we're realizing Brother Bush didn't play by the rules. And because he didn't play by the rules, he ended up losing money. And so you shouldn't be in a position where because you don't pay by the rules, you lose money. There's very simple ways for him to have gotten access to the money that he put in there. Very simple ways. But again, there were some other things that they did that they didn't consult the right people about, which is why they lost money. So at the end of the day, big dog, what I'm going to tell y'all is this. Work with generational wealth builders. You won't have these problems. All right. That's my time, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being on. I hope you'll like and share this content. Again, it's designed to help those that really, really want to understand. And again, if you are a buy-term investor difference person, let's chat. Let's chat. Y'all know, I can tell y'all, I went to school with one. And I saw this individual when I was in their town. And do you know that this individual would not speak to me? It ain't got to be like that. Look, because you got another flag you fly. We ain't got to be enemies now. Come on now. It's life insurance. It's not like that. So let's get out here. Let's help families save, grow, and make money. All right, until next time, folks, y'all have a good day. Stay warm out there, especially if you're in the Memphis area. Make sure you ain't driving on no bald head tires, and make sure your insurance is paid up. I'm talking about your car insurance now. And if you got car insurance, you probably want to stay off the road because it's probably the people without car insurance that's going to be out there on the road. All right. Listen, yeah, who knows? I may set up something tomorrow because they're anticipating snow. I tell you what, put on my page if you would love for me to set up a seminar tomorrow on Zoom where we could talk about life insurance. If you love that, just like this post, put it in the chat, let me know, and we'll go from there. Till next time, y'all take care. God bless. Bye-bye.